And we're talking about a Kitchener, Ontario man today who has been arrested. His crime? Well, his daughter drew a picture of a gun at school. Police hauled him away to the station, strip searched him, all because of his 4-year-old's drawing. So let's bring in Brian Dunstan, who's been following developments on this story. And the more you hear about this story, the more ridiculous it comes. If it were not such a, threat to this guy's life and reputation and the well-being of his daughter, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. You know, Alex, you look at this story and it's more than a head scratcher. You got to really raise an eyebrow and think, how can a little girl, kindergarten, draw a picture that has such almost long-lasting repercussions? Here, let me paint the picture for you, not to be punished here. A 4-year-old girl goes to school, draws a picture of her father, and the teacher asks the little girl, "What have you drawn there?" And she goes, "That's my daddy shooting burglars and monsters." Teacher takes the picture to the principal. They call Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services calls the police. Father comes to the school to pick up his kids, gets taken to the principal's office where there's 3 police officers waiting for him, arrested, charged with possession of a firearm, handcuffed, walked out of the school, taken into the back of a car and all the way to the police station where he's strip searched. No weapon was ever found. Now, there's some question as to whether their house was searched. That hasn't been determined yet. But the man who was arrested, Jesse Sansoni, only signed a release after he was released. So there's a lot of questions about whether the authorities even had the right to do what they did. But the bottom line here is, how do you take a picture from a 4-year-old girl in kindergarten and extrapolate from that a man is in possession of a firearm? It's a leap of logic that has some people scratching their heads, and as I said up the top, raising an eyebrow.
Yes, and I would think a few defense lawyers out there are probably champing at the bit to get in on this one, because it just seems that his rights were, if in fact this is true, his rights were completely trumped. I mean, was he read his rights? Did the police go into his home? Did they have a warrant? Because if they didn't, then a lot of lines have been crossed here.
And those are all questions that need to be determined. One of the things we should say, though, Alex, is this. They have to follow a certain protocol in schools. And when a teacher feels that a child's well-being is threatened, they have a protocol in place that they have to follow, and that's what they did. Now, you can put it under the heading of CYA, which we all know means cover your derriere, but this is what they have to do. And if the teacher feels this is warranted, they go through these steps, and that's what led to Jesse Sansoni being arrested and ultimately charged and then released for having possession of a firearm.
My question would be, did they talk to the parents at any time? Were the parents called and questioned?
Well, as near as I can determine, Alex, that was never part of the process. They went right to Child Protective Services, who went to the police. Police showed up, and boom, Jesse Sansoni was taken away. Further to this, too, the police went to the home and brought the mother with their 15-month-old child, who was already at home, to the station. The children were taken and questioned. The mother was sitting there not knowing what was going on. All she knew that her husband was in custody and charged with something. She was unsure.
All right, there's still a lot of questions. I know we have crews on the ground trying to chase this story, so we'll continue bringing you developments, but troubling nonetheless, Brian.
No question about that. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.